Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Dave Nelson. I teach history down at the Bainbridge campus for ABAC. And I want to talk to you today about a program I direct, the Scotland Study Abroad program. And by the way, as I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen, um, even though I'm down at the Bainbridge campus, I do have my email a couple of times on this PowerPoint. Uh, don't hesitate to contact me. We can Teams. I am up at Tifton every Tuesday afternoon, so that's a good time for me to meet with students. I do hope to do a longer program in a few weeks, both at Bainbridge and up in Tifton. So again, this is just a little taste of what we do. So don't be a stranger if you're actually interested. The other thing I want to say, I'm sure you've heard this a bunch of times already, and that is I do want to encourage you to do study abroad. Obviously, I want you to go to Scotland with me, but more than that, I just want you to travel. This is the best time for you to try to travel. It is actually so hard once you get out of college and you get a family, and you get jobs, and you get commitments. Everybody thinks that's when they're going to travel. It's tough. And there are so many scholarship opportunities at ABAC, so take advantage of them. And as you're hearing today, there's a lot of good programs out there. But I want you to come to Scotland. So as I go through this, I'll try to keep it quick. I do have a lot of slides, but I'm just going to zoom through. Almost all of these have been taken by students, including the one on the screen. One or two I took. There's only one or two that are actually off Google. So I try to use actual images from the students from the program itself. So you want to accuse me later of making it look better than it really is. So again, it's a 2-week program in Scotland. We base ourselves, we stay in Edinburgh, Scotland, the capital, and then we travel around the country. So obviously we fly over to Britain, and that gives you a little bit of a chance to do some other stuff because we do have a couple of days off. And you can also flex your time. When you buy your ticket for the airline, you can go a little early, you can stay a little later. So you can also, join, maybe go to some other countries at the same time. So the dates for this year, 2024, again, we actually do two-week programs back to back. So I'm there for a full month, but the program is actually 2 weeks. But not that I'm encouraging you to do this, but a couple of students have actually done the 4 weeks. They've done 2 programs in a row. The only thing I will say, because students do always ask about that, is it is kind of the same program twice. If you are thinking about that, just know you'll be doing the same field trips twice. But the first one is 19th through 31st of May, 2024. That's a Sunday through a Friday. And then right after that next Sunday, June 2nd through June 14th, is the second program. I teach on both programs. I teach the history courses there, but we do have other different professors for the different 2 weeks. Again, you can see the star with Edinburgh. That's where we stay. And then we travel up to St. Andrews and over to Glasgow and up into the Highlands. So we do get a pretty good taste of Scotland. This is the program I began, 2011 is the first time we did this program. I think I have a couple of photos from the program. If you see a darker beard, that's the older images. But this is a homegrown program that we started, again, down at Bainbridge. But in 2013, it became part of a statewide program. I still run it. It's still based here, but it is open to students across the state. And it's through a program called USG Goes Global. And there's actually several programs associated with this. Some of you might have gone with Dr. Schmeiser this past summer to Ireland. I know Dr. Kirkland, who I believe is there today, talking about his program to Paris, which is also part of this. And again, highly encourage you to do any of these. They're all wonderful. Some are 4 to 5 weeks. Mine's 2 weeks. But it is a wonderful opportunity. In addition to the ones we do right here at ABAC, these are some statewide ones that you can also get credit here at ABAC as well. I will say this is a page from the website. We haven't updated the website. Georgia Goes Global, usually about mid-September is when they update all the information. So we're a little later to the game. So this is actually last year's flyer. And unfortunately, it is 1900 instead of 1800 this year. So we did have to go up a little bit. But I just wanted to give you a sense of kind of what the flyers look like when online. So Georgia Goes Global. I mean, you can just email me. I can send you the link, but I don't expect you to write the website down. It's not the most user-friendly website address, but basically USG Goes Global Scotland, and your first hit will be the website. Again, we haven't updated it yet, but we will soon. So what does it include? Again, it's 2 weeks in Scotland, so it's 1900. That I hate to say it, but it doesn't include the airline. So the airline is separate from that. And anybody who's never bought an air ticket, it's actually really easy. I helped students last year do that. I'm willing to help this year. And I usually recommend a couple of flights and almost everybody's on the same flight. So you're really actually flying over there with a group. You're just buying the ticket on your own instead of us buying it for you. And so what that includes, again, is 2 weeks in Scotland, includes the housing, and I'll show you images in just a moment, includes all the required field trips, although you can still do things on your own. It includes the opening meal, breakfast every day, transportation for the field trips. We do a dance. We usually do a couple of tours, including a ghost tour. We see castles. Again, we travel to the Highlands. So it covers all of that. Plus, you still have some free time that you can do your own thing. We have a free weekend that you can go and travel. And again, if you go early or stay late, you have an opportunity to maybe do some other parts of Europe as well. And a lot of students do kind of combine this with kind of a personal trip. It is open to all ABAC students, obviously in good academic standings, but it's also, this particular program is not just open to ABAC, even though the director is an ABAC professor. It's open to all students across the state. So you may have 5 ABAC students, but students from all other parts of Georgia as well. This year, we're offering credit in history. Those are the ones I teach. Literature for, I believe, session 1, and criminal justice during session 2. So if you need criminal justice, you want to go on that second one. If you want credit for literature, you want to do the first one. And again, you're stuck with history on either of them. So what do we do? So I want to show you a few of the images of us exploring in Scotland. So again, I'm the director and the teacher for history. This is my email address. I'll put it back up at the very end. For this year, the other professors are Dr. Laura Ing, who's a literature professor from North Georgia, and Dr. Ava Thorpe, who is a criminal justice professor from Fort Valley State University. So those are other professors. And I do have their emails here. I'll go back to Laura just for a second. And if you have any specific questions about their courses, also when we update the website, we'll have all of the syllabi as well. So you know exactly what you're going to be expected to do while we're there. People always ask, how do we do a whole course, 2 entire courses, 6 credits in 2 weeks? We don't do much of a classroom. We do have a small space that we spend, I think, a total of about 5 hours over the 2 weeks in. We're not there very long. But the trick is, obviously, they're really hybrid courses. So we do have web components for these, just like we have Georgia View here at ABAC. So a lot of stuff is done after we get back. We have lectures and documentaries online. That's where you'll do your final exams. So you have more than 2 weeks to work on these courses. In fact, while we're there, we don't really want you doing a whole lot of schoolwork. We do lecturing. And again, I have a lot of images of us actually teaching, but we don't really want you doing homework while you're there. I do have some assignments, like when you go to a museum, you might have little worksheets. I do sometimes ask that you maybe, talk to some local people, ask some questions, but we really want you exploring as much as we can. But again, I want to show you some images of sort of what school looks like over in Scotland. And this is, for instance, this is in the cemetery in St. Andrews that we visit every year. So once you arrive at Edinburgh Airport, and I'm going to be there to greet you. I mean, I'll find out when you're flying in, so I'm always there at the airport to greet students. Even if it's just one student on the flight, I'll be there so you're not alone. You know where you're going. You'll come into Edinburgh. We stay in the historic site at a place called Edinburgh Central Youth Hostel. You will stay in a room with one roommate, and usually I let you pick your roommates. It's more like a basic hotel. This is where we'll eat breakfast every day. This is where we'll meet for class. The few times we will meet for class, there's a kitchen there. There's hangout facilities. There's laundry, so you can do your laundry there. You can cook there. You have private bathrooms. You have, of course, shower facilities. So even though it's a hostel, it's really more like a basic hotel. These are just a couple of quick images from it. We do take you out to an opening meal that first day, and then we go to a place called Howie's. It gives you a chance to try some traditional Scottish food. This is from the last couple of years of students getting to know each other on that first day. Give you a chance to try haggis, perhaps. And by the way, real quick, I'm taking too long already. Before we even go to Scotland, we do meet one time in Georgia. So you do get to know everybody even before we fly over. There is an orientation about a week before we leave. But so we explore quite a bit of Edinburgh because we do stay there for 2 weeks. So places like Greyfriars Kirkyard and various churches and Edinburgh Castle. There's always performers there. Again, it is the historic capital of Scotland. So this is where kings are buried. This is where a lot of major Scottish writers are, like J.K. Rowling, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Lots of great restaurants. Again, if you are a Harry Potter fan, this is my son from many years ago. A lot of the names and inspirations for Harry Potter was in Edinburgh. That's where the first Harry Potter novel was written. This is my son pointing out Kurt Shanks. Much of Harry Potter was written, in fact, this cafe. So the Harry Potter fans always like to go to this cafe. We do things like visit the Scottish Parliament. We do nature hikes around the area. This is us on Arthur Seat with a park ranger. We do other nature hikes. It is an active program. You can't tell. We do move around quite a bit. We also do a traditional Scottish dance, a Scottish Ceilidh dance the first week. So this is included in the program. These are a couple of images. They actually have a website, but these are our students on the website from the last couple of years. Also in Glasgow, we do take a train to Glasgow, and part of what we do there is go to a British tea room. And so this is from the last couple of years, the students doing a traditional British tea. We do use the transportation system to get around. So for a lot of students, this is their first train. We go to places like St. Andrews, which is where golf was born. And of course, it's the site of the famous St. Andrews Cathedral. We also go to Stirling Castle in Stirling, Scotland. If you're a fan of Braveheart, this is where all that took place. And again, I think we end up going to about 4 castles total. You do have a free weekend. It's a chance for students perhaps to take a train down to London. Some students actually fly over to Ireland for the weekend, go up to the Highlands on their own, go to York, England. We've even had students go to Paris. Go with Kirkland to that, though. Don't do it from Scotland. But these are some images of students going to London in the last few years. That's my son. That's obviously not a college student. Then we actually head up into the Highlands. We have our own tour guide. This is Kirsten Grew, who we work with every year. We hire our own bus, and we do explore the Highlands for quite a bit. And again, lastly, we do spend a little bit of time in the city of Glasgow, the other major city of Scotland. All right. I know I've already taken way too much time. I just want to give you a lot of images of what we do. I hope you at least think about Scotland. Again, contact me if you have any information. Thanks for coming, guys. And thanks for everybody for letting me do this. All right. That's it. I'll see you guys hopefully later.